the way, you know what I'm going as.
What are you going as?
Brandon. Okay, we'll be right back.
Let's go, Brandon.
That's hell. Anyway, so what you had there was Harris Faulkner on, I don't know, one of their shows. It's all the same nonsense at this point. Why do they even name them? But she said, I'm going as Brandon. And then the others are like, let's go, Brandon. Yeah, we got him. Now, do you know what that means? Are you watching this and you don't know what it is? Just write your thing. Okay, so here's what they did. They wanted to say F Joe Biden. You can't say that. I mean, come on, what are we, adults? So they came up with let's go Brandon. It means the same thing. They found a way around it. It's a cheat code, everybody. A cheat code to be able to swear on the air. How exciting is that, JR? And they did it on Fox's Harris Faulkner. Brandon. I'm Brandon. You know what that means? Huh, Joe? You know what it means, Joe? Are you still sleeping, Joe? Cause F you. I mean, sorry, I would never say that. I would only say let's go, Brandon. Yeah. What the hell is wrong with this country?
I've been saying this a lot recently. There's been this, every time you hear someone from either side, from either political leanings, whatever, right, left, and in between, if they don't have anything substantive about the reasons why they're saying something, or their stances, or their campaigns like let's go Brandon, they don't have anything. Yes, that's from both sides. There's plenty of Democrats who don't have anything. They get fed what they're gonna do, what they're gonna say, and how they legislate. It's just the way it is. Now, let's go Brandon is supposed to be this gotcha. But what is that doing? Think about it. What is let's go Brandon doing? What's the point? The point is to have this to generate this like quote unquote secretive but not secretive F you Joe Biden thing for people who dislike Joe Biden. So what does that do as far as Joe Biden? What does that do with Joe Biden and your issues with the supply chain issues? I was listening to dumbass Sean Hannity last night, late at night, and I was half asleep. And sometimes you have a different brain a function when it's late and you're half asleep. I was like, they're just not talking about anything. So it's let's go Brandon. What is that doing for the electorate? What's that doing for your viewership? What's that doing for the legislation and point? They pointed out supply chain issues. They point out how expensive Thanksgiving is going to be this year. They point out gas prices. They point out his approval ratings. And I was like, okay, you can address all these things that you have an issue with. What does let's go Brandon do for those things? What does let's go Brandon do for the gas prices that you've been bitching and complaining about? What does it do for it? It doesn't do anything.
What does watching Sean Hannity do for you? Why are you doing that to yourself, buddy? Anyway, people are asking the audience. It doesn't do anything. It is so perfect though, because of exactly what you were saying. That like, we have to try to fit all of the news that we want to talk about. We cut it down and cut it down and cut it down into what we can fit into the show. And we always produce too much because there's too much we want to talk about. They have a very different problem at Fox News, and their politicians have a very similar problem, which is I don't want to talk about any of the stuff that's actually going on, but I have to talk. We can't just stare in silence. You saw the last couple seconds of that video. That was terrible. We can't do hours of that. So we talk about something, and I don't know, the Dr. Seuss publishers aren't really up to much, and Mr. Potato Head, nothing's going on there. We've got a phrase, everyone. And so that has swept through the right. Now, many of you for a long time have thought that the right isn't funny. Well, joke's on you. It's certainly not on them because they don't get jokes. Yeah, they found something that's very funny, and it is everywhere, people. You have this congressman, this is Jeff Duncan, has it on a mask. Look, I'm just glad he's wearing a mask, honestly. Lauren Boebert has it on a sign. Marjorie Greene has it on a plane. And Marjorie Greene was herself chanting it in a video. Let's see, Ted Cruz is posing in front of the picture. And then he's saying it in a video. Oh, how happy is Ted Cruz about this? First of all, that human willingly talked to him. He hasn't experienced that in literally years. So he's very excited right off the bat. And he's like doing something fun and cool. He feels so great. But really, like this is all Ted Cruz wants. To feel like there's some connection between him and conservative voters that has nothing to do with literally anything. This doesn't have to do with your mortgage. This doesn't have to do with your health insurance. This doesn't have to do with your student loans. This doesn't have to do with anything, and he doesn't have to do anything. None of them do. They hold up a sign, they tweet out a thing, they wink at the camera, and nothing improves for their voters, but their voters feel an attachment. Isn't it fun, JR? It's
the big illustration of what they have with their voters, which is, I was gonna say high school, but it's more middle school. Taunts and chants. It's really all it is. Now, by the way, with the Harris Faulkner thing, and they go on a break and they say, I'm going for Halloween as Brandon. Like, if that's the one and only one of only few times that this is brought up or mentioned or as the thing, I actually don't care, because this is the thing. That insult isn't much of an insult. Who cares? Who cares? Like, if you walk up to me and for some reason, Let's Go Brandon has been attributed to FU JR, I'm gonna go, okay, and I'm gonna walk away. Horrible things have been said to me. I used to do athletics. I was an athlete. People said horrible things to me. I don't care. I don't care. So this is only to galvanize people's mindsets of anger and hatred for certain people. That's all it is. It's, hey, we're saying F you every time that we say this. And then what?
Yep.
Nothing. All it is, and then in the very next segment, they'll say, look at Joe Biden and how he's dividing America.
That's 100%. 100%. And that is where we will turn, because they did do that with Joe Biden. Did you know at one point he called Republican governors who were like arm in arm with COVID? He called them Neanderthals, and Fox melted down like Raiders of the Lost Ark over that. How could he call them Neanderthals? That's not even a swear. That's not even a swear. That's scientific. That's like as far from a swear as you can get. And they lost it over that. And then Hillary called them deplorables. How could you do that? Even though, again, it's not even a swear. And I want to be very clear. My opposition to this, because I've talked about this in a couple of pre-shows, is that I'm a connoisseur of cringy humor to some extent. I go on the subreddit. I watch British comedies. I've sat through Scott's Tots without fast forwarding it. But even I have a limit, and you've gone too far. You may not understand why this makes you look so childish. That grown ass adults who could just say F Biden are instead doing this. I'm just trying to help you. It doesn't offend me. I want to be very clear about that, except comedically. It doesn't offend, like if you want to say F Joe Biden, say it. You know who's said F Joe Biden? This guy. I'm an adult and I don't like him. So I can swear at him, and so can you. I have a 10-step plan that involves putting words together and saying them out of your mouth hole, if that's what you want to do. But while it doesn't offend me to swear at a politician, I do want to be clear that there are some people who think that there should be a level of decorum and we should have civil society. Don't go talk to Tucker Carlson in a Bass Pro Shop. That's uncivil. And they didn't like some similar things. Now, we didn't have Let's Go Brandon for Donald Trump, but once he did go to the World Series and they did boo him. You might remember that unless you watched on Fox, because they literally edited the boos out of it. But they did talk about it afterward and they did not like it. Tommy Lawrence said, lock him up. How original. It's sad these Trump haters can't even come up with their own jeers. Still, our president didn't seem fazed by the booing whatsoever. It's not surprising these heckling jerks didn't seem to bother our president. Sure, a baseball stadium setting during the World Series is certainly a popular place, but our president fills comparably sized stadiums like that at almost every rally. And he does it with just a podium and American flag. That's true, he can do that, and Biden didn't do that, but then Biden did beat him in the election, Tommy, so he's got that going for him. But look at that, heckling jerks. They're not gonna stand for heckling jerks, JR. It's just the hypocrisy, isn't it? It's like heckle whoever you want, honestly. I really don't care, but try to be clever about it.
It's so weird. That's all I'm saying. It's just weird that this is a victory. These are the victories. They're empty and they're childlike. That's what we've got. We've got where they think they've just won something. There's your prize. Here, take your prize and run. I got a handful of it for you. There's nothing there. Just take it.
Yep. Oh, by the way, so I was like drawing a line between her and between Tommy Lauren. Tommy Lauren tweeted it, by the way. Let's go, Brandon. So again, she wouldn't want you to be a heckling jerk or anything, but she thinks that's very clever.
Well, John, by the
Anyway.
way, for anyone who's confused by the "Let's Go Brandon" the origins, like maybe people don't understand that it means "F you, Biden" because of a chant that an announcer thought they were saying "Let's go Brandon," the baseball game. I think it was a baseball game.
Yep.
And he mistook it for "Let's go Brandon" when they were saying "F Joe Biden." That's where this came from. So it was organic.
Yeah, it's just so, like I guess a lot of right wingers probably aren't watching this NASCAR. A lot of right wingers aren't watching this, but like you can put a little bit of thought behind. There's literally millions of you. Like even if each of you had one or two neurons, get your heads in the same room and put something together. You've got to be clever than this. And by the way, it is not the first cringeworthy thing in politics. Some people have been giving examples of others. I remember seeing tweets and Instagram posts of Robert Mueller like photoshopped so he has abs. It's this weird thing where like people in politics have to take like their politicians and give them abs. They used to do that with Trump. That's really cringeworthy too. But you should know, I wasn't tweeting that out. So anyway, we can all go too far, but thankfully we do have each other to help draw us back from the edge. And the right wing desperately needs help with this right now. Anyway, that was our first topic. It's ridiculous. We'll see if it helps. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.